You know what it is, and for what it's worth, you can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time.
Welcome to 21st in Prime, still the coldest corner in the country with my main man, Jamie Dukes.
Hey, Doc Rivers got fired the other day.
Yeah.
It was you. I remember
It was me,
you
right?
Talking about.
Had nothing to do with what you said. I'm
What?
a Doc fan.
I am too. I just.
You said something about the stats of how many consecutive playoff games, what you said.
Well, no. What had happened was based on the numbers in the early exit again. These are stats that were thrown out by some of the people you know on your staff.
I thought we had a staff, so now they're
Well,
my staff.
kind of, yeah.
I thought
Three.
my
He's
rod
gone.
and my staff comfort us.
Yeah. But he had 3-1 deficits, or
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
How
So I
about
heard
that?
also he got picked right up to Philly.
it begs this question:
I can't wait for this.
when is it time?
What you mean? Time for what?
Just well, I know it's always prime time. I get that.
True.
But in this game, is there a shelf life as a player?
Make it plain, dog.
No, I'm just saying. I mean,
You talking about Doc or you talking about a player?
I'm talking about Doc leaving. He was there 7 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's not a lot. I mean,
well, by NBA standards, maybe
True.
it is a lot.
Yeah, but Doc.
But was it time? I guess the question was it time to do it? Because going back to the conversation that we had, the things that you were talking about specifically.
You shouldn't have
Uh-huh.
two. There's no way you could have 2 to 3 all-stars, as well as the 2 arguably the best 6 men of the year, and you losing in the first, second round of playoffs. That shouldn't happen. I'm not one to fault a coach, man.
I'm not following Doc either. I'm just curious as to, because this game is about time. Sports is about time.
I don't follow you.
Sports is about time. In other words, there's a season and
Season and a reason for
for everything, and
Ecclesiastes
over
3:1.
Thank you. And so for, and I guess
Time
my
in the
question
season.
is,
Okay.
when do we know it's time?
When you hit the switch and the light don't come on. When there's no gas in the car. When there's no passion, no fire, no excitement.
Well, Doc's got all of that now. If we're talking about going to tie directly to Doc,
Okay. You asked me a question. when is
I'm
it
just
time?
saying.
I ain't saying nothing about Doc. You asked
Okay.
me when is it time. I'm telling you when is it time.
Well, yeah, but in this particular case, Doc the decision was made. We need to go in a different direction, and that's the question that kind of.
So the question you really asking me
Yes.
is should Doc have gotten fired?
No.
So what you asking me?
Because anybody can make that choice. They could have made the choice to keep him.
So when
but
you say
when you look at things, you're a coach. Mm-hmm. Okay, you gonna have to start people. You gonna have to bench people. You gonna have to make a decision on somebody that you thought was somebody you thought they were gonna be.
I don't want you to know I'm a coach.
Okay,
I'm a coach now.
okay, yeah.
Coach Brown.
You are Coach Brown.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that is.
When is it time?
Yes.
It depends on the feeling for me. I try to explain it to you.
Yeah.
When you don't have that fire, that passion. When it was time for me to walk away. Now you got to understand something about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Most players allow the game to walk away from them.
Slow down. Wait. Hit that again now. So.
See, this is what you want.
No, I want to hear that.
No,
Say
this
that again.
This is what you want.
Okay.
This is what you want as a player, as a man.
Okay.
You want to be able to walk away from the game. You don't want the game to walk away from you.
Okay.
Oftentimes, guys hold on a little bit too long. Mm-hmm. And the game then walks away from them. Then they're troubled. They're not ready. They can't handle it. It's a shock. It's an adjustment. It's dysfunction. You got to equip yourself not only on the field but off the field, financially, mentally, physically, psychologically, to be able to walk away from the game and not look back.
You have a statement that you made, and I want you to talk about loving something that won't love you back.
I've never loved something that couldn't love me back. Mm-hmm. Well, Prime, explain that. I'm glad you asked. Football, man, was good to me. It was wonderful to me. I love competing in it. I love the challenge of going against another dude and trying to dominate it. The claps, all that. But as far as the game, I can't say that I was in love with it because it did not possess the ability to love me back. I can't love something that can't love me back.
I love this game. Let's go.
You ain't never seen me say that.
I know. I'm just saying.
I shed tears at the Hall of Fame because of the people that were in my head that was very vital in me making it to that point. But I wasn't crying about the game. I wasn't one of the ones, we lost. No, dog, we lost. All right, let's go. What's next? Let's get ready for the next one. I didn't love like that, man. I've never had that capacity to love like that.
If you had to say,
and then I never loved what I couldn't trust. Ooh. Dang.
Okay.
You really don't want to get.
Well, wait, we got number time.
How can you love what you don't trust, ladies? See, this is your problem. You can't love what you don't trust. Can't do that. I've never had that ability. I've never had that ability
tie
in my
that
life.
To the game. You can't. Tie that to sports. How do you tie? I see the
game.
life. Okay.
The game is a business, man.
Okay. So don't trust the business.
Right.
Okay.
But you got to handle it as business. Most people think it's a game. No, baby, this is business. And see, then when it turns into business while you playing the game, you get your little feelings hurt. You get your little emotions just shattered. And how many times have you seen that?
I see it all the time.
Right, because they thought it was what?
But is
a game, and it's business.
Well, let me ask it this way, because I think that the thing that always comes to mind with me, with players, we were both players, is you understand it's a business too late.
You're right.
Too late.
Okay, let's just talk business.
Right.
The first contract you get, just throw it up in there. Just throw it up there. And anything you catch.
$5,500 is my signing bonus, and $60.
You throw it up in there, and whatever you catch in one hand,
that's all you got left.
That's all you got left. So if you're blessed to make it to the second one, that's the one. Because it's over after that. In our game, basketball may be different, baseball certainly different, but that game of football, man, you only get two. If you get three, God, it's a blessing. Because your first one takes you to 21 to 25. Then your next one takes you to 30.
If you're lucky.
And they don't want to deal with you after 30, right?
Right.
Everything gets cut. Unless you're a quarterback. Unless you're a phenomenal.
Do you think that too many players don't quite get the very basics of it's a business?
Yeah, because, man, this is your dream. This is your goal. This is your aspiration. This is what you thought about when you was a shorty. So once you get in it, you just in it playing around for about 2-3 years until one of them old heads grab you and sit you down on that chair and say, partner, look here. Let's talk about this game because you got to understand what it really is because right now you lost. And until somebody does that or you just one of those looking learners, I was a looking learner because nobody took me and set me down. I think, okay, I see how this is going. Yeah, you show me that puzzle board, I'm going to know where to fit these pieces if you show it to me long enough. And I had to find those pieces because, when I came in, the game was different. The rookies could come in and make more than the vets. Now that precedes animosity. And ain't nobody finna show you nothing when you come in, ain't done nothing, you the highest paid man on the team. Yeah, it don't work like that. That's what it was. But we find out through trial and tribulation, this is a business. And it's very unfortunate because some of our dear friends, some of our soldiers, our partners has fallen by the wayside. thinking it was a game.
Do guys today, in your mind, understand?
I think so.
Yeah.
You know why?
Too.
Because there's more people. Well, first of all, we got social media. We can find out everything about anybody. Once upon a time, ain't nobody could get to you, man. Ain't nobody could get to me. Now you could get you could see the lives of some of these guys that are doing it right, and you saying, hey, man, that's something I can emulate. And that's what you do from afar.
21st and Prime brought to you by our friends at Rocket Mortgage. And, you know, Tom, you're doing your research right now,
Right.
due diligence. And
Got to get a crib.
You know,
Got to get a crib in Jackson.
I know you're not out there looking at the rates and all that other kind of
True.
stuff. But I will tell you this. The thing that I love about Rocket Mortgage is the ability for the individual to go out and just kind of get a full understanding of what's available to them.
Right.
You know, factor in, okay, you know, I'm working hard, so on and so forth. I got 20, 30, 50, whatever, put down on a house. How do I make that happen? They have the tools, they have the resources to be able to. As a matter of fact, they have the playbook. And that's what we want you to log on to, rocketmortgage.com playbook. That's right, rocketmortgage.com playbook, and it will give you that roadmap to life. Get started online at rocketmortgage.com/playbook. Call for more information and conditions. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS consumeraccess.org, number 3030. Let's move on and let's talk about this is one of my favorite segments, and this is going to be the first time we take this out of the car.
You do it.
Hold on. I can't say it like you do.
Hold on, player.
Hold on. Now, tell us the design and the thought process. Hold on, player started 20 years ago, at least now. And what made you come up with that and the notion behind?
When someone's gone too far, they about to overstep themselves, and you kind of want to reel them in. Like, hold on, player. Or somebody just spoke out of turn. And it's sort of like you checking them. Hold on, player. It's you trying to help somebody. You're going too far, and I care about you too much. Hold on, player. It has several different meanings.
Let me give you one, and you tell me if it passes the hold on player sniff test.
Give it to me.
NFLPA president J.C. Theder. There've been a lot of injuries. Last week, there were, I think it was 3 or 4 injuries on one of the field. I think it was the Jets field. And so there was a lot of complaining that was going on. And statement being made by Theder simply said that the NFL, now this 2-part question here, should move towards all of the fields being grass.
Hold on, player. I don't care if the Jets played on the math. Where do they play the Masters at? That
Augusta National.
It doesn't even matter, man. It don't matter what kind of surface they have. The men on the surface is the problem, not the surface. The men on the surface is the problem, not the surface. That's not good, Jamie. Come on,
Well,
man.
I guess.
So what happens when it gets cold and that same grass field turns into rock? Come on, man. Come on. That's an excuse.
This really kind of, though, well, I don't know if it's an excuse because I think as a player, one, grass, better surface to play on. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. But the reality
better surface to play on in the spring, summer, and until October.
And then that's when
it's not the best surface to play on. It's not, and you know that.
No, I'm a lineman. Grass is always going to be good ground. It's going to always.
So you want to play on grass in December?
Yeah,
late in December.
Yeah.
Jamie, stop.
In Miami, why not?
That's a hold on player. That is a hold on player.
But at least really the broader question becomes to me that, you know, and like I said, I love the players. I loved, you know, I'm a player, PA. But it just seems like, you know, the things that are the ask and the want don't, from the player's perspective, never seem to be the ask and the want that's in the best interest of the player.
Explain that. What's the ask and the want?
Well, the ask, for example, the ask and the want to me should stem around financial issues that are important to the league or to the players from that standpoint. You know,
they have all those resources.
No, they don't have guaranteed contracts.
No.
They
They're not
have
gonna
a
do-
piece of
because-
something guaranteed. They got a piece of
because-
something guaranteed. That
because
to
the
me,
sport is too detrimental. And you have, 58, 59 guys now active on an active roster? That's probably why. In these other sports that have guaranteed contracts, you got 12 dudes, man, basketball. You got, 25 in baseball, something like that?
well, how about this? But what if the league at
They
least,
should.
That's the point.
I would love
But
them
that's
to.
not the table that's being banged. The table that's being banged and the things that are being. I've always felt that players, unfortunately, were just kind of immature when it comes to the business part of it. Until, as we were talking earlier, until it's too
They're
late.
coming down the home stretch.
Until it's too late.
I agree.
You know, to me, whether or not you have a drug policy that has marijuana or this, that, and the other, that's not the most important thing. You know, the most important thing is benefits for the family. It's insurance longer than 5 years.
Right.
It's all of these things. And it just seems like,
Now, insurance-wise, with the NFL, I wish, but not insurance, pension.
pension. Yes.
I wish it kicked in when a guy was like 40 to 45.
Right.
You know how long the wait is when you get off the field
I
at
do.
30?
As a matter of fact, I do.
When you get off the field at 30, and you got to wait till 65?
Yeah.
Man, that-
50, well, you can do early at 55.
Yeah, but
yes,
but
yes.
when you do, what happens?
They're going to cut you.
They're going to cut it.
They're gonna cut
They're
you.
going to cut
They're
what
gonna
to
cut you
get.
now.
They're going to
They're
cut to
gonna cut you.
get.
They're gonna cut
That's
you.
not right. For players that have that lifestyle, that their careers may end in the 30s, everything should be accelerated. It should be.
Yeah. So when you look at decision making that's being made, I'm talking about players who, and I'm talking about leadership, issues that you stand on. What areas for you were areas that and now you're a more seasoned guy, what areas did you not, that you paid attention to at the end that you're not paying attention, you didn't pay attention when
Well, I
you
always paid attention to the contracts. And
Well, you always did pretty good with those.
God was good.
Yeah.
Is good. My bad. Not was. God is good. I can't. That's a tough one, Jamie, because I paid attention to a lot of things. I wouldn't say I paid attention
Guys,
to
well, let me rephrase
a
that.
lot of the health benefits and all that. I didn't really pay attention to that. The insurance, and I didn't. I really didn't, because it wasn't prevalent to me at that time. It wasn't a need to know thing.
But, and now we're getting a little close.
Right.
Deion, our friends at Roma, man, they have, I think they've changed the game.
You think?
No, well, I mean, let me rephrase it. Change the game in that, there comes a point in time when everybody needs a little help, and it doesn't matter.
Need help over time.
The founders of Roma and his son was at a very young age when his issues arose. But they've got these swipes.
So have little Jamie come and tell you, like, Dad, I'm having a problem?
No, he hadn't told me that.
Yeah.
He's 14.
They get out to get early.
He's 14, Uncle Deion.
Coach, man.
Uncle Deion, he's
I'm a
14
coach, dog.
years
They
old.
get out the gate early. I'm not saying I'm an advocate of that. I'm not riding with them. These kids got out the gate early. Man.
Let me
Let
tell
you know.
you about an incredible opportunity for those out there who are looking for something that'll give them a little something extra. Give them the ability to last all night long. Lionel Richie used to sing that song. All night long. Wipe it on, let it dry. The Roman swipes are absolutely amazing. And there is a special, by the way, a what I'm going to call a Prime special. Log on to Roman.com/Prime. That's Roman.com/Prime. And you'll get your first month of swipes for $5.
That's a good deal.
$5. And the beauty of these swipes is just like they used to do back in the day. You can take the little packet, put it in your wallet, keep it moving, and you never know when you might need it. And also,
So you gotta understand my mind. You know how crazy my mind is, because I also in the spokesman for Subway, and then my mind was saying, so you get a $5 foot long. That's what my mind. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's my mind. I have a comedic mind. That's my bucket list thing, comedy. Yeah.
log on to Roman.com/pride.
Barstool Sports, baby. What it is, and for what it's worth, you can catch me.
Now we got it.
Now we got it. All right.
Welcome back to the Corner 21st and Prime. I was trying to figure out, Prime. I mean, I'm doing the count, because you want to give all of our guests their due, but I couldn't count the number. David Banner in the house, the legend.
How many movies?
26. Oh, a lot of success.
That's a lot of success.
That's a lot of.
This is a good brother, man.
Yeah, man.
I love him to life, man.
Yeah,
Straight
man.
up.
I just want to say thank you, man, for what you're doing for our state, what you're doing for our people, bro. I know from the outside, people see so much confidence, people see so much success, bro, but for you to come back for our people, bro, and bring our people back to where you are and even further levels, man, especially Mississippi. I always tell people that's the cradle of where our people are from. Like that we used to call that little Mississippi. We would call Mississippi little Africa. Even with the Mississippi River going straight through it, like the Nile in Africa, bro. And I'm grateful for what you're doing for our people, and you have energized our people, man.
Thank you.
You got people who hadn't been back, to Jackson State in 20, 30, 40 years, man, excited, donating money and everything.
How about that?
Amen.
Well, how did you guys, like I said, we all meet in different places, but how did this relationship and bond start?
You tell the story.
All right, so there were some things happening in the sports world, and I got in contact with Prime, and I was like, listen, man, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you, just a different way of looking at it. And so the thing that I told one of my friends is, he called me and was like, David, man, listen, bro, I've been good at sports most of my life. He said, so my perspective about what happens in the world is different because of my success. And he said, like, people have always treated me well. So I know that's not the same way that they treat other black men. And he said, bro, I want you to help me, like, know what my brothers are going through and understand how much he humbled himself. It surprised me because I actually thought he was calling me because at that time I was on one. I had my black fist up like this. I thought he was calling me to say, hey, young brother, I need you to calm down a bit. He didn't. He's like, bro, like tell me why you think that way. So I gave him a perspective on something that was happening in sports, and I think it gave him a new way to look at it. He said, listen, I'm going to get me and my son. We're coming down there to you in your office next week. He flew down on his own dime and his own money, and we sat in my office and we talked for 4 hours. And ever since then, we've been locked in. And that's why I was talking to some people outside before I came, and I was telling them, it's like, we have a tendency to think that stuff is magic. I'm thinking this stuff, the universe is much more intentional. I think God brought us together early because there was something really big in store.
Yes.
And now it's happening right now in my city. Right. Well, our city now.
It's been other things that has transpired where people ask me, I say, man, when it comes to this and that, this is the brother I lean on. If you want to know about this and that, he's my source. So I'm going to hook y'all guys up. And it has happened.
He did it.
With a very...
I'm talking about...
Wait, hold on.
We can't say it.
That's what
no. Barstools, we can say that.
No, but I mean, but if
Dak.
some people... not that kind of thing.
No, Dak.
Well, he said...
Dak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Something transpired, and he wanted to just let him know, hey, man, this is the way
called
you navigate that.
Yeah, I called him. I said, you may need to go talk to your guy.
Right.
That's what I said. He was like, why don't you talk to my guy?
Right.
He called Dak up on the phone. Here y'all go. And then he left.
Yeah.
And me and Dak, because Dak told me, Dak gave me his perspective. I gave him my perspective. And Dak said, well, David, I'm going to need you to stay in contact with me.
That's it.
He was like, bro, don't let this be a one-time thing. Don't let it just be about what has happened. And I was actually talking about the business deal when I was talking about the name of them folk right there. Them kind of folk we can't talk about on TV. But no, but seriously, and that was one of the other things that I like so many times. And I would tell like BT and places like that, they would only call me when it had something to do with social commentary.
Okay.
Like people put you in your box and try to keep you there. I told one of the cats, man, I was like, you know, he called me when he was ready to start the revolution, but I was like, when you was getting that Disney money, you didn't call me. like we need to eat too.
Right.
And
This is
he
the way
would
he
call
talk.
me.
Right.
This is the way he talk.
Yeah, and he would call me, and he was like, Banner, listen, bro. He's like, strap up. We about to go. Yeah. And he called me with a situation. I'm serious, and I never told you this. It was so big that it shook my whole entire life. Because if the deal that we were working on would have gone through, it wasn't a couple meal, it wasn't 10 meal. It was
big boy,
something that would change your whole entire life. And what I was telling him, we were just talking about vision. He said our people perish from a lack of vision. The fact that I saw, or he let me see, that past music, you have an opportunity to do this. All you have to do is get around the right people. Right. So if you're going to help me on this, I'm going to help you on this, and we're going to stay together for the rest of our life. And that's how it's been.
Yeah, but we still are.
Yeah.
Because we just got finished chopping it up about our beloved city and the potential that we have. Because, and this is a reflection on him. If I go there and I only win games, I hadn't won. The crime rate's supposed to go down. The teenage pregnancy is supposed to lessen. All that stuff is supposed to be impacted with our presence.
And another thing that I tell the streets this all the time, and I learned this from traveling internationally. You got to stop robbing the folks that come in your town. Because people.
So talk a little bit more about that. I mean, be more specific about not. Okay.
No, I was about to.
Yeah,
like literally, when you go to international countries where people travel to, if you rob somebody that's the blood of the commerce or of the city making finances, then you are directly hurting the city. So if we're gonna bring all these people to our city, we need people to want to come back. If you give a person a bad experience, then they will never come back. We are already breaking the stigmatism of the racism and the stuff that our state went through, years ago. We are finally changing that. Now we got to let folks know that we got to give people an experience. That's what they did in Atlanta. Atlanta gave you an experience. Even when I moved to Atlanta, I had never felt people be happy for your success. Even the people that rob you in Atlanta, they want to see you be successful so they can have more money when they hit you. So go ahead and have fun, David Banner. We're going to make sure that you have fun when you come here. But seriously, the one of the things that I learned from him is just giving people vision. Most of these kids, and Nipsey Hussle said it too, if you can take care of our people's base needs, most of the reason why our people are so upset because they hungry. Most of the reason why our kids can't learn in school because they hungry. They full of salt. They full of sugar. They full of despair. Me and a friend of mine in New York, we're thinking about writing a book she's a principal in Harlem. It's going to be called Door to Door. We're not going to talk about if the kids' parents are on drugs or if they have a home. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about what they go through in school. We're talking about from the time they leave the door at home to the time that they get to the door in the school, the stuff that our children have to go through that we never ever talk about.
Awesome.
So if we're able to give them vision and show them, like last night I spoke in Cleveland, Ohio, and after we got finished talking, they had never seen anybody that stayed an hour after they got their money.
That's who you are.
Right. And I told him, I was like, I hate leaving you. Because most people feel like, oh man, they just came here to get the money anyway and they out. The same way that you connected with the city. You went in, not just with the governor, not just with the mayor, not just the big city. You went and got in with the community. Yeah. And bro, they respect that and gonna talk about that for the rest of their life.
What makes you you, man?
Mississippi. It was the pain that I saw our people go through historically. And when I started studying, when I started realizing everything that we do, our people didn't come off them boats acting like that.
Right.
We were socially engineered. And so we're gonna need social engineering to come out of that. We're gonna need people to come and love us. And the way that people used to treat folks from Mississippi, I told people ask me why I don't do VIP. Like when I go into the clubs, I don't do VIP. I'd rather wait outside and then come into the club. The reason is I never wanted a line between me and my people.
That's good.
You know, if you go back and listen to my music, I never said Jackson, Mississippi. I would always say Mississippi. Because I didn't want people from the smaller towns to feel like the rest of the world made Mississippi feel. They always made, even in the South, they made us feel like we were less than less. So I started my albums by saying, I'm from the place where your grandmama scared to come. I'm from the place where you scared to come. You 2 generations away. So like one of the things that I always said, I always ask God, like, and wonder why God positioned me in the places that he did. And I think it was because if I can remember how it felt, they said this on Captain America. Captain America was the smallest dude in the army, and he went and asked the scientists, why did you give me the power? And he said, you remember how it felt to be on the other side of the sword, because you've been on the other side of the sword your whole life. So now when I give you the sword, you will always remember how it felt to be on the other side. So when I was given power, I remember how people used to treat my folk when they came. And I said I would try to never treat other people like that. That's why I have a whole gym in my house and I still go work out at the YMCA. Because like what you are doing now to our people, when they see David Banner sitting next to them working out, and they were like, I just saw David Banner.
Right. On one of the 26
Oh,
movies.
yeah, on Prime Site. Yeah, exactly.
Movies, right.
Hey, man, that's funny. I just realized what you said. But it makes people feel like they that much closer to their dreams, bro. No different than what you do.
Do you feel today? And I just have to be. I mean, we're all similar in ages, but just like our children, today's artist is different. Not in a bad way. They're just different. The values that you're talking about, the values that you espouse, do you see that from this generation, or is it a work in progress? Your thoughts?
I feel like our kids are a direct reflection of what we did or did not teach them. If our children have lost their way, it's because we ran off and left them in front of the TV chasing an American dream that was never really designed for us. So I don't talk about our children. That was the only reason why I started back rapping. I have a multimedia company. It's called Banner Vision. I'm producing.
Yeah, right there. Banner Vision. By the way, tell them about the podcast. I don't mean to interrupt your thought. Tell them about the podcast. Podcast is Banner. There you go, Dave. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I score movies, video games. I didn't have to rap anymore, but I realized, how can I tell our kids to act a certain way when initially I didn't act that way? So, you know, I watch so many artists who they become conscious or they get saved or whatever and forget what they did. Like, how dare I tell people about being a gangster rapper and that's how I made my money? What I can do is give them perspective.
There you go.
And be successful. I'll tell you something that I do right now. And most times if you work for me, I overpay you. And people ask me, how am I able to do that? Well, because I'm doing so many other things. If you are in the studio for me while I'm shooting the movie, I can give you a little bit more bread.
Right.
Because I'm over here shooting the movie too. I'm getting a little bit off of here and I'm still getting this. So I'll pay the bass player a little bit more. And what'll happen is I don't have to talk about what other people don't do. If David Banner is paying him right and the other dudes are making more than I am, then they turn around and say, well, David Banner can pay me. Why can't you pay me? And you making more money than him. So I can inherently change the game by me doing right. Prime is about to change the scope of the HBCU, not just football, but sports in general, just by him coming back. He don't have to talk about what other black folks are not doing for their people. I'm going to show you how to do it. Then I'm going to even make it look good. Now, I'm going to force you to want to do it. Right.
So the jacket, so you saw the press conference, right? I was trying to tell him to go with a different color in the jacket.
Quit lying.
I did. You didn't wear the jacket I told you to wear. You wore.
Which one did you tell me to wear? Jamie, you agreed on that one. You said that one right there. You did.
I saw a red one.
Do I need to back up? Is that what's my
right now?
And he was that a shot?
Yeah,
well,
he was because he was getting ready to tap in on something real. Because he was getting ready, and I want you to finish that thought. You was talking about the look good. Yeah, and that's one of my models. Look good, feel good.
Right. I was telling you when we were sitting outside, bro, about something about you that most people don't do well. A lot of people shine, and there's no substance behind the shine. People can say whatever. You said I could say fuck, right?
Yeah, you said what you want. This is Barstool.
All right, Barstool, thank you. People can say whatever the fuck they want to about you, but with all the shine, with all the change, couldn't nobody outplay you. And I think you about to show people, and I was going to ask you that because we're about to do my show.
Right.
I was going to ask you, who is the coach? Is it Deion or Prime? I really can't wait to.
Oh, don't get him started.
I really can't wait to.
Don't get him started on that.
I really can't wait to see because the funny thing is we need both. You know,
That's what it is. Now you got to understand there's different entities, there's different lanes. To help our people with the resources that they need, I got to be both.
Yeah, you have to.
I got to go in there as Deion, but I got to light it up like Prime. When I'm on the field coaching, I got to be that guy that I was on the field intellectually and knowledge-wise, and being able to inspire them and encourage them and to motivate them as well as chastise them and get on their butts and make sure I hold them accountable on the same token. So I got to be various things at various times because what we're doing at Jackson State is a new thing. It hadn't been done yet. So we're creating a mold. Not only are we creating a mold, we're going to show. And I just said this earlier. I'm employed by Jackson State, and I'm so happy and elated and thankful. But I'm working for our people.
Well, yeah. And the cool thing about it is similar to where I am in my career now. Although you are employed by Jackson State, and we're grateful for that, it's not something that you need. Like what I'm doing now with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, like we're about to throw one of the biggest concerts maybe in history, and I've done that before. I threw the largest, along with Radio 1, I threw the largest urban relief concert for Katrina in history ever. And so now we're doing that to send black kids to HBCUs, and it's funny that this is changing my whole entire life. I need that bread. The bread I'm making on this, I actually need that. You know what I'm saying? we about to shoot some movies. We about to shoot some movies.
I just need a cameo.
No,
I just need a cameo.
Yeah. Well, I need you to be on the cameo. I ain't going even front. But what I was saying is I had to tell one of the higher ups there. I was like, I don't need your money.
Right.
Like, I'm very successful, and they were talking about the way that I'm going to edit the fundraiser. I'm going to shoot this like a movie. And I'm going to cut it, and it's going to be fast moving because I went in, similar to you, I went and studied the statistics. People don't stay engaged with fundraisers. And he was like, well, why aren't you putting all the artists together? Like, if they're performing 3 songs, they're not going to be back to back. So I'm not going to have, everybody don't like rap. Everybody don't like R&B, but if I hit them with 2 Chainz real quick, then come back with Jill Scott, then give them some comedy, then we come in and give them some history. By the time people, and they were going to give me 2 hours, I don't want 2 hours. Right. I want it to be short, quick and fast, and people like, hey man, what just happened?
Yes.
Right. You know, we just signed on Lil Baby to come through. It's like we got every generation, every genre of music. It's not just males. We got Rhapsody, we got N.D.I.R.E., we got Jill Scott, we got all of these things.
You're doing a variety show.
Yeah.
You're doing like the shows we grew up on.
Right.
Yes.
And we're gonna make it fly, fun. And one of the things in my movie, I'm only saying this because it's you. I'm gonna amp the colors a little bit. They're gonna be big and bright. Cause like even in the studio now, I see it on your walls. When you came in my walls are green. I'm sick of our people don't even know that they sick of being depressed. That was the reason why Pharrell's Happy song was so big.
Hit hard.
That's the reason why Happy Feelings.
Right.
You know, if you think about that, man, every time they come to town, whether it's New Orleans, where it's always sold out, because even our people are sick of being depressed. That's why when you come and flash that smile, I just learned how to do it because I was a gangster rapper.
Mean mugging all the time.
Bro, I had to tell a young rapper, he was like, hey, David Banner, sign me. My name is Uzi. I said, first of all, I don't like you, sir.
Right.
I don't like you. Step back for a minute. Smile.
Right.
Even when I take the pictures, and the reason why I don't get on them too hard, because when I got signed, I didn't smile for a year. Deion, you been to our city. Where we from, you smile, you die. So we now are teaching these children by example. That's why I was telling you when you asked that question, our kids are a direct reflection of what we did or did not teach them. So it took us learning how to smile, getting them teeth fixed, and getting it to them, Jack. I stay smiling.
Tell them how we should say we at NFL Network together.
Hey, we come out of the break smiling, and we go into the break smiling. That was our motto.
We could be talking
Because
about
people
your
don't want
mama,
one.
call her 4 eyes, ugly,
People
buck
do
tooth, and
not
everything,
want
but
to
we
see an angry black man.
Will Smith do it better than anybody
Yes.
I've ever seen. Will Smith could be talking about your grandmama.
yes.
And smile at you, you'd be like, you know what? I don't like my grandmama either. Will Smith, Will Smith will smile at you, and that's what I realized, man. People have to like you. It was one of the hardest things, Prime, that I ever learned, man, because I'm one of the few artists who got better in time. Because most people don't practice. People wonder why I get better every year. I practice at my art. The same way y'all practice on football, I stay in front of a drum machine. I stay reading. And because I always wonder with rappers, I was like, man, like, how do you want to be a rapper and you can't speak? You don't know no words.
Right,
bro, you need to be evolving every year. And so what I realized, man, is that my smile, and it was crazy, a white dude in the first movie, Craig Brewer, when I did, I still have a concussion. Some things happened to me, so y'all forgive me.
I know you slipped
But
over that too.
on Black Snake Moan, Black Snake Moan, he pulled me over to the side. He said, because you 6'2", big guy, he said, most people are gonna try to make you play the thug. He said, your money is in your smile.
Amen.
He said, he said, I've been shooting movies for this amount of time. He said, for some reason, every time you smile, the whole, like everybody even on set, you know, they brighten up. So I said, man, I'm gonna just say, that's how I'm gonna make my money. I'm gonna smile on their ass
You
everywhere I
know
go.
what blessed me that you probably have no idea? God box.
Yeah.
Tell them about it.
The God box, what happened with me, man, is I metamorphosized as a person. I went through a very deep depression. I never contemplated suicide, but growing up the way I grew up, we always thought that was weak. But when I went through what I went through, I realized that's not weakness. When you don't like yourself and you wake up to you every morning, and you can't get away from you. You know, I started understanding that. I went through the worst times in my life, and we were talking outside about how people have tricked us into thinking when you're going through pain that God don't like you or that God is trying to make you suffer. No, I tell people all the time, if God is doing this, all God is saying, son, turn this way, and the pain will stop. Pain is just to show you, no, you need to go this way. Or if you feel pain here, then you might need to check there. Maybe something about to happen to you. So once David Moody, who runs Moody Construction in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the most successful black men in America, he actually moved me into his house. And I was David Banner at the time. And he says, son, you made it hustling and grinding. He said, but if you want to make it to my level, you're going to have to learn to be still. Similar to how you are at your house. So I ended up moving to levels of success by being still and listening to God, getting away from the noise. I said, I'm going to have to find a way to market that to our people. Prime, it took me 6 years to figure out how I can still sound good, still use the trap elements that my production helped to start. How can I do that and keep the peace that I have? It was one of the most complex things, and I came up with the God box. And something that I see that we have in common, there's some really big companies that are coming to try to hire me because they said that the God box was marketing genius. What I did was I took a lot of the things that helped me become conscious, I put them in the box. And said, I'm going to try to give these kids a box with everything that helped me to get conscious.
It's a playbook for us.
Right. And people thought that I made all the money off of this album from the album sales, it wasn't. It was that $250 God box that you can get at davidbanner.com right now. But literally, I sent Prime one of the boxes, and a couple of white websites said that this was the greatest marketing ploy in music history. But the thing that I told them, it was not a marketing ploy, because I literally made it to help our people.
There you go.
If I can take all of those years that I got, if I could put it in a box and give it to people, I did. And I want to tell you this really quick. There is this guy named Everlast. He was in the group. That made Jump Around. You remember that song, Jump Around, Jump Around? His nephews are half black. So when the police pull him over, they black. And it was one of the most touching things, because he ordered those God boxes and gave it to his two nephews, because he told them, I don't know what it means to be black, but I trust this guy David Banner.
Wow.
And he gave his nephews, he said, and the things that I can't help you with, I think David Banner can vicariously help you through these God boxes. And bro, we've been changing people's lives.
Man, I'm proud of you, my brother.
Thank you,
Proud to
man.
know you. You always energize me. You intrigue me. You challenge me, man, to go farther, to go deeper, and to do more. And I appreciate for that.
But I do want to tell you something that you taught me, bro. You are my mentor, Mr. Moody. I think I'm that way physically. I was telling people that I believe that God put me in this body so I could be the protector of the weak. Because I got a bully body. I come from a bully place. I come from a gangster background. But I love my people, and I believe that God put me in this armor so I can be the protector. Bro, you don't have to be humble to nobody. Even from a stats perspective, you don't have to be humble. Bro, you are one of the most humble people I ever met in my life. Prime came to my office and said, I want you to mentor me on our people. And I was looking at him, I was like, hey, I wonder if he want to be my mentor. and literally, he came to me, man, and sat at my desk. And I was like, wow, that is how we are supposed to be for our people. There is something that just happened to me just recently, man, where I was the victim in a situation. And my street side, actually, I'm going to be honest with you. This young man named Justin Blue, he inspired me. He's younger than me. He said that the way he put it, he was like, well, I really want to take the nigga side. He said, I'm actually justified in taking the nigga side. He said, but the nigga side don't last long.
That's right.
He said, but if I take the God route, even though it don't feel good to my ego, it will last forever. Bro, the way that you even came to our city and presented yourself, but when you turn around to the world, we gonna shine on them folks. Yeah. Bro, you taught me that, man. And even though I did it by mistake, I am more intentional about being compassionate with those who don't know any better.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you for that, man.
Yeah, brother.
And man, and I thank you for helping me to help my brothers to pick the right coats when they get on TV. You know what I'm saying, man?
I've helped him pick a couple of things along the way. We've known each other since 1985.
Really?
Yeah. I was 17.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just to kind of share some of that you don't know about us is, again, the reason I'm here, that compassion, that I got some skill, but the point of it is friendship, relationship. It is understanding the purpose. The one thing that I think that he does better than most people is understanding the purpose for the position that you're in. Yeah. Whether that been he was a Raven, it was a different purpose than when he was a Redskin or a Cowboy or a Falcon or whatever. And so, as I'm listening to this conversation and it's like I just met you today. I mean, I know who you are. Right. 26 or 27 movies was that. But I know exactly who you are. But it was just to see the kindred nature of the relationship. And it starts with giving. It starts with the people or because one of the questions that I wanted to ask, and I'll ask it, is that at what point in your career, because I've known him a while, did you say, I got to turn from being that guy to being this guy who gives to the people, whatever that is?
Wow, that's sort of make me a little emotional, and I'm not an emotional guy. I was dying.
Wow.
Like, I really believe that God put me in a position where I was gonna have to change, because my doctor in Mississippi, she is not a naturopathic doctor, but she lives like she's a regular doctor, but in her lifestyle, she takes the naturopathic way, the herbs and the roots. And she said, your cholesterol is a little high, because she ran like $2,000 worth of tests on me. And because I really was dying. She looked at me, she said, your cholesterol is a little high, but she said, I can look in your eye and tell you that you died. She said, now I can't say that on record because they'll take my job from me. She said, something is going on in your spirit.
Wow.
And if you don't change something, you are going to die. So I think what was happening was, again, God was pushing me away. And I'll tell you this from a talent perspective. You know how when people say that they're going to retire and they want to go and get the farewell, I never liked that. I always was like Tim Duncan. If I'm going to retire, I'm just gone. And people going to turn around and like, where did he go? So I stopped music. And when I went back to work with my people and I started enlightening my people, music came to my foot. Like, literally. And I'm not just saying this. I am 30 times better than I've ever been in my career. And now people may look at record sales, but the difference between me and other people get fractions of pennies. I get $9
Right.
for every record I sell. So if you look at mine and then go times 9, we all right over here.
Right.
But like, when I did what I was supposed to, and I didn't let, because the one thing I do like about Prime too, I'm more of a spiritual person, not really a religious person. And he knows exactly what I believe in. I know what he believes in. He has never pushed his beliefs on me. He gives me spiritually what he believes in. And I'll tell you something I never told you before. I believe in so many cases that so many religious people have taken advantage of our community. The reason why I listen to you, and I got one other homeboy that I listen to, is because you don't tell me about Jesus. The stories that I see or I hear about Jesus, you act like that. So I don't listen to it, because we from the streets. People always give you good game. I sit back and look at what people do. Your actions, you coming back to our community. When you came to my office, you could have stood over me. Bro, you came just like they say Jesus watched folks' feet. You say, man, I want you to I want you to teach me and counsel me on what I know. He totally humbled himself. I was like, wow. Bro, that's what really matters. These kids are not listening to what you say. They're looking at your actions.
That's right. That's
my opinion.
That's right.
That's going to do it for this edition of 21st and Prime, the incomparable David Banner.
The man.
Podcast again, where?
Oh, the David Banner podcast. Y'all go and subscribe. Y'all go ahead and give us the 5 stars. Even if you don't like me, give me the 5 stars, and then you can talk about me bad in the description when you write the description. And make sure that they go to David Banner, davidbanner.com. Again, both of you all, thank you for having me here, man. Thank you for your kindness. And just thank you for what you're doing for our people, bro. Whenever you call on me, I'll be there.
I'm calling.
I'll be there.
Believe that. Jackson, get ready, baby.
I'll be there.
Barstool Sports, baby. Trap. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. Fresh and clean as the South get. Before I get started, I'm laying out my outfit. Socks and shoes that match to a T. I doubt if a sucker get a catch on me. I'm G-U-C-I-M-O-T-I-V-A-T-E. plays when you see me on TV. Jamie Dukes riding shotgun, that's what he be. Snoopy Digo Double G, you make it look so easy. One of a kind, prime time is the GOAT. Hall of Fame gang, man, hand me my coat. 2, 1, 3, 4, you know. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. Yes, sir. Welcome to the best podcast in the world. Deion Sanders, Jamie Dukes, Barstool Sports, Big Snoop D.O. Dub. Yeah, we gonna let the music ride now. Hey, Prime, it's on you, OG. Let's go. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st.